Hello, listeners. I've got an extraordinary tale for you today, sent by one of our dear listeners. Let's dive in. Back in November 2019, I discovered I was pregnant, but had no idea. My boyfriend and I went to Cebu for his medical exam because he was about to leave for work overseas. We explored the beautiful temple of Leia, such a heavenly place with all those white angel statues. It felt as though we were walking in paradise. After a day of sightseeing, we returned to the city and checked into our hotel. That night, I had a nightmare. A large black snake was coiling around me. I woke up at 3 a.m. with an intense stomachache and noticed my stool was black. I gulped down some painkillers, but the pain persisted. I had a fever and felt weak all over. Once my boyfriend's medical exam was completed, we traveled back to our hometown in Batangas. On the way home, I felt extremely lethargic. When we arrived, I took some medicine and received a massage from my mother, which made me feel better. In December, my boyfriend left for his job, and I returned to work. Everything seemed to go back to normal. I even traveled to Lipa to get some documents. Unfortunately, that day I started bleeding heavily. I assumed it was just a regular period and didn't think much of it. A few days later, I felt dizzy and almost fainted. I thought there was an earthquake, but there wasn't. I took a pregnancy test and got a faint line. A follow-up test confirmed that I was indeed pregnant. My boyfriend, my family, and I were thrilled. We were going to have a baby. I immediately started prenatal care, and my doctor advised me to get an ultrasound. On December 22nd, the ultrasound showed no signs of a baby. I couldn't believe it. I was devastated and cried my heart out in the clinic. I asked the doctor why the pregnancy test was still positive. They explained that it could remain positive for a while after a miscarriage. I went home and shared the heartbreaking news with my mother. I spent many days crying and even fell into depression. But then, I reminded myself that everything happens for a reason. Fast forward to February 2021, I got chickenpox. It made me think, maybe it was a good thing my pregnancy didn't continue, as chickenpox can be dangerous for pregnant women and their babies. In March 2021, the pandemic was in full swing. I lost my job, and we weren't allowed to go outside. My boyfriend was sent home because his passenger ship had no passengers. He arrived back in the Philippines in May, after multiple quarantines, finally making it home to Romblon. In Romblon, we opened a small convenience store to earn some income during the pandemic. In August, I had the most beautiful dream. I was standing by a serene, beautiful beach, holding hands with a gorgeous little girl who had slanted eyes and wore a white dress. She led me home and asked me to return to our house. When I woke up, I realized that she was my unborn child who I had lost. 2 months later, I found out I was pregnant again. I knew in my heart that my baby would have slanted eyes, and she does. She looks just like the little girl in my dream. I dreamed of her again. We were at the beach, but she was older this time. She called me Mama and promised to wait for us until we were together again. After that, I didn't dream of her anymore, but I know that we will meet again someday. Listeners, the story stops here. Thank you. And the lesson from this story, dear listeners, is that sometimes life throws us unexpected trials and tragedies. But remember, everything happens for a reason. Our lost ones are never truly gone. They continue to live in our hearts and in our dreams, watching over us until we can be reunited. Keep faith, keep hope, and keep love alive in your hearts.